Greetings YouTube, Captain Machine, back for another video, and this is like the 4th or 5th take now, so we'll see if it hits the internet or not. But I want to talk about the foreword in the Dungeons & Dragons anniversary and how it affects the legacy of the creators, especially Gary Gygax of Dungeons & Dragons. And when I point out Gary Gygax in particular, and people said, oh, the foreword doesn't talk about him, what they're talking about is that tiny highlighted bit that everyone has issue with. But of the whole page that foreword appears on, Gygax is the only author mentioned by name. None of the other authors are mentioned by name. It's only Gygax. So the implication is all the issues on that page, all the bigotry that's highlighted on that page is him. Whether it be by his own pen, or by his acceptance by the editorial, or just by his admittance that, oh, that's fine, whatever. And the crimes that he's committed of are so, in some cases, minute. Like, we're talking about a sarcastic letter in a magazine, a little jab at something in a single line of text in an appendix. Stuff like that, that when I look at it in context, with the knowledge of how values have changed over time and the way that early games designers tended to have very much a boys club kind of environment, so the level of humor would be different and the level what they're prepared to take digs at would be different. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we're looking at like things like Slay Industries and like Wall of Darkness, who rip into modern society at the time they were published, or more recent society in that scenario, and they don't get the shit that's getting thrown at Gygax. And is that what the author of Wall of Darkness has to look forward to when he carks it? To have every tiny little questionable thing, whether it be sexism, racism, culture appropriation, whatever, getting dragged through the mud. Oh, well, he wrote all this, therefore he's a bigot. Like, I don't think that taking something that was said or written in the 70s and stick it in amber is indicative of the creator's life. I don't even think it's indicative of his thoughts at the time. In my honest opinion, I thought I've read through what I've seen, and I don't see issues with it. Would I have said it? Probably not. But then again, I was born in 1980. And it's currently 2024. That's got to mean something. Somebody said to me in the debates I've been having online that Wizards of the Coast had to do this, and I call bollocks to that. The reason why is they've held the license for 27 years once they bought it off TSR. They've shepherded 4 editions of Dungeons & Dragons. Because, let's be honest, the newest iteration is basically a new edition. Or at least 5.5, but that's beyond the point. They didn't have to do this. In my opinion, any editor worth their paycheck would have seen the firestorm that would come from this commentary and cut it completely. Or at the very least, dulled it down to its lowest possible point. Which now makes me wonder, in hindsight, was the original draft way worse? And this is them dulling its impact. But let me get this straight. If you go to any social media right now to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, you are going to encounter people shouting at each other about this. Wild debates, accusations, all the rest of it, right? You're either with us or you're against us. On both sides. I'm not saying that either side is right. I'm saying that I've taken a look at the evidence and I don't see the bigotry that is claimed about. Or at least nothing that I find so objectionable that I would have to jettison my love of the game. This is why I feel that Wizards of the Coast is a poor custodian for the game in its entirety. Last 5 or so years, the quality of their products has just plummeted. Whether it be the writing, the presentation, the philosophy, whatever you want to say about it, all of it is started going down. I think the editors are asleep at the wheel and have been for some considerable time. And this foreword is a very good example of it. There is no way that should have got published. There is no way that should have been put in a book like that, because now everyone's talking online about Elon Musk buying Wizards of the Coast. Now, I don't think that's a great idea, personally. Elon Musk fanboys tend to think so. And Elon Musk haters tend to think that that means the devil's coming to get them. I'm somewhere in the middle. I just think it's a poor idea to have ultra-rich people of either persuasion coming in and staking their claim. What I do believe is appropriate is to vote with your wallet. I haven't bought a Dungeons & Dragons product in quite some time because the quality has been lacking. Not because of the multiple controversies around the game and Wizards of the Coast in particular, because Wizards of the Coast, for some reason, can eat a massive one. Like, their handling of Dungeons & Dragons has been terrible. Their handling of Magic has been subpar at best. I don't think this is a Hasbro thing, although Hasbro might be making demands of Wizards of the Coast to churn out more profit, but that's corporation's fear. We'll have that debate another time. I suppose if I was to summarise this, the reason why I find this objectionable, and I've seen this with other controversial figures in the past, is it smacks of the attitude of, we hate the person who made this product that's going to make us money, but still give us the money. Like, screw the creator, but still pay me. I know that everything I'm doing is built off a legacy of that man or those men or whatever. Fuck all them, but give me my money anyway. And I think at best that's tasteless and disrespectful. Doubly so, given the fact that all of the people involved are dead, so they can't defend themselves. They can't get on the podium and say, well, it was in poor taste. That's not the intention. That was written with sarcasm in mind. Whatever the case may be, I don't hold those beliefs anymore. I haven't done for quite some time. Here's all the things I've done since then to rectify that problem. This is why we changed it, blah, blah, blah. Those kind of conversations that would happen if they were alive, but they're not. We're shitting on legacy of dead people now. As you can tell, I'm quite heated about it. And I shouldn't be. Because, as I said before, people are arguing online about this. Because somebody let this go through an editorial process and thought this was a good idea to publish this. Had this not been published, this would never have happened. You think back to a month and a half ago, before this was published, before this story broke. Right? That's what the world used to be. People talking about crazy character builds. People talking about, what they like or don't like about the new edition. People looking forward to the new monster manual, the new DMG. Looking at the new players, the new Dungeon Master's guidance and the players and the screen to go with it. That was the conversation a month and a half ago. Now, it's whether or not Gygax is a bigot and drawing lines in the sand. And that's why it should never have been published. I'll ponder it. If this appears online, then you know which side won the argument.